All right, it's the new year. Everyone's making all of these new goals, which is great. I want to get ahead of the title a little bit. I do think that goals are good. You should have goals, you should set goals, you should try to achieve those goals. What I mean with the title of this video about creating habits and not goals is that I think that habits are more kind of realistic, more attainable, achievable, more immediately beneficial, and habits are the things that are going to help you achieve those goals that you set. So, what do I mean by this? Basically, I'm going to use a bunch of examples from my life that I'm doing currently because that's just the easiest thing for me to pull from. So, for instance, I want to get in better shape, right? So, you can set the goal of I want to be in the best shape of my life or whatever shape that you want to be in, right? That's a great goal. However, it's kind of ambiguous or it can morph a little bit. And so the thing that you do is you create a habit of, say, going to the gym every day or working out at home every day or doing whatever thing that you can every day to achieve that goal. The habit of continuing to work out, continuing to go on daily walks, continuing to do X, Y, and Z is how you're going to achieve that goal of getting in that shape that you want to be in. Another goal that I have that I want to achieve is I want to write more, right? And how am I going to do that? Well, I can do that by creating the habit of writing every day. So I have a daily journal thing that I write in. If I get in the habit of writing in that once a day, every day, writing will come more easily to me. It'll feel more natural. I'll be more inclined to do that more often. And building that habit will then help me whenever I do need to sit down and write something for a project or whatever thing it may be, because I've built that habit up. And so I think that the important thing, it's good to have goals, but more than that, building the habits to achieve those goals is what's really going to help you. So it's about doing that. Like if you want to read more, you just have to get in the habit of reading more. I have an entire video idea that I want to do on that. But for me, one of the big things is trying to, instead of having the habit of when I'm sitting there picking up my phone to scroll for a couple minutes, if I can have a book at hand that I can pick that up instead and spend however many minutes sitting down and reading a couple of pages of something that I would have used that time scrolling instead, that's good. That builds the habit of reading more, and that will help me achieve my goal of reading 50 books in a year, right? And so it's about building these habits, because these habits are the things that are going to facilitate you reaching your goals. Because as I said at the beginning, goals are great, goals are amazing. You should definitely have goals that you want to achieve, but goals feel so big and can be so far away, and it can be super daunting. And so the easier thing to do, and I say easier, it's still not easy. Building habits is not something that you just turn on and do. It takes consistent hard work, and it's tough. It is tough to build yourself new habits or to maintain habits. But the thing about them is that the more that you do them, the easier it will become, because it's like, I heard this analogy a couple weeks ago. Building those habits is like working out a muscle, and the more that you do it, the easier it will be. So if you build the habit of reading more, or going on daily walks, or working out, or whatever the thing may be, practicing an instrument, right? Writing, recording videos, if that's what you want to do, the more that you do that, the more you will be inclined to continue doing it. Whereas the less that you do it, the easier it becomes to then not do that thing over and over again. You should have goals, set goals that you want to achieve, but don't make the goal the end all be all. Make the habit that will help you achieve that goal the end all be all. To focus on the habit, focus on building the habit in a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month experience. That's what you can do to get to those goals. So again, like I said at the top, it's the new year. Everyone's setting all of these goals, and I think that's cool. It's important. But remember to focus in and think about what it will take to achieve those goals, and really put your focus into those habits, because then you'll also feel a tangible reward sooner than for achieving the goal. Like I can set the goal that I want to read 50 books in a year, but I mean, that's a great goal to have, and that is my goal for this year, right? And that's awesome. But also, I won't feel the reward or the satisfaction or the yay, I did it for that goal until a year from now. Like at best, I will feel good about that in a year. Whereas if I have my goal and this is where I'm kind of conflating the two between habits and goals, because they're super, super closely linked. But if I have my goal as to build the habit of just reading more in general, every day and every time that I sit down and I read more, I feel good about that. I feel rewarded for the fact that, like, hey, I'm doing the thing that I'm trying to do and that I want to be doing, and that's reading more, right? And so that becomes a healthier process as you go on and you begin to repeat doing this, and it's like, okay, I'm doing the thing that I'm setting out to do, and I feel good about that, and it just continues to build and build and becomes easier and easier, and then that helps you get to that the bigger goal, and then hopefully at the end of the year, or whenever the end timeline for that goal that you've set is, you then are able to achieve that. But it's rewarding yourself along the way to kind of help yourself stay motivated and keep yourself in that mindset, and also just feel good about the whole process. That's all to say, goals are great, but focus on the habits. Build good habits for yourself. Notice the things that you're doing when you feel good in your life generally, and think about the things that you've been doing consistently and how those impact when you feel good, and try to foster those good habits if you can. And notice the bad habits that you have. Those are also equally as important. Notice bad habits that you have that you're like, hey, I notice whenever I do this consistently, it's probably not as good, and I probably shouldn't do that, and try to wean those out. Try to do those less, and kind of, it's so important to build habits that are good and that coincide with what you want to be achieving. So yeah, focus on habits, create habits in tandem with goals. And yeah, that's it for me today. Learn more, be kind. I will see you in the next one.